My name is Retu Chatterjee, and I think I have been coming to Babaji's ashram since 1996. It's been a very eventful journey, I should say, till now. Yeah. And I think I was prompted to come here by a visitor to my house, a very well-spoken lady who has been coming to Babaji's ashram since 1974. So in our conversation, what she turned around and said is that she asked me quite straightforwardly, saying, "Have you come to Haidakhan so to meet Babaji's family?" So I said, "Haidakhan, Babaji?" I said, "No." So, so she said, "I come from so far for so many years, and you sitting right here in Delhi, you have never been to Babaji's ashram?" So I sort of looked a little, what should I say, embarrassed, and I said, "Well, someday I'll go, I'm sure." So that story and that conversation ended, and the next year she again came with a lot of people, and we generally did a lot of logistic work for her. So she said, "This year, come with me." So I said, "Okay." I just said that to her, but I was not too sure that I could deal with an ashram life and be there. But I did come to Ranikhet. It was in October, very cold, and my husband had sort of prepared me for it because he was a frequent visitor as to what to expect, that you'll have to sleep on the floor, you'll have to share the bathroom, you will not get hot water in the tap, and you'll have to get up in the morning at 3:34. And I said, "Oh my God, I don't know what I've signed up for, but okay, let's go." I came along with my 4-year-old son, and I think ever since I came here, one of the things which amazes me also is that I could never stay away. So I became a regular visitor every Navratri to Chilyanola, and I do owe a lot to this lady who sort of prompted me to say, and she sort of taunted me to say that being so close to divine places, we in cities don't come, we don't venture out, we get trapped into creature comforts, and the journey has it began in 1996, it has continued so far. I think it was just like a nudge from her, because when that is what I have come to deduce, that when your timing comes, you automatically agree on your own. Nobody can force you. So she probably was a nudging factor to put a seed in my thoughts that there is a place and there is something which we can do, to reach a certain place. So she was probably the nudging factor, and the decision was of course mine. It was an impromptu decision that come September I said, okay, I told my husband, I think I would like to go. So I did come here, and frankly speaking, I did crib a lot initially, because that was something which I was not used to. And the funny part was that for the first 2 days I could not get up at 4 in the morning and be there for Chandan. And I looked at myself, I was singled out because I was probably the only person roaming around without Chandan. And it was a bit embarrassing, and I told Muni Raji, who was the spiritual head at that time, wonderful, gentle, father-like figure, and I confessed to him that I'm very sorry that I have not been able to make it at 4:30 in the morning. And I remember his very gentle way of saying, "Oh, no problem, don't worry, it will come naturally and on its own." And it did. And I have to say that by the 9th day I was far more used to the fact, and I accepted it and enjoyed every bit of my stay there. Since then, I think I have never been able to stay away, and I have made it on my own every year, and it was funny. Then I would be the one waking up my husband at 3:30 in the morning to say, "You have not woken up. Come on, let's go. It's time for Chandan." So I think that was one big change, for the fact that you understand the significance of getting up in the morning and doing your prayers and meditation. And the other thing which I really learned, if that's a step towards spirituality, is humility and humbleness, to bow down, to do prostration, to accept the divine forces around you and allow them to guide you during your course of life. So I think the miracles that we look for in terms of a spectacular miracle, I think it comes to you in small ways, in many different ways, and in very subtle ways it changes you. And I think that is what each one has to find in themselves. And sometimes it's hard to express that, okay, there was this spectacular moment. I would turn around and say that the spectacular moment you can only experience in the night when you recap that how did your day progress, how did it change you to become a better person. I think that is the spiritual journey that I could turn around and talk about, that to have a larger heart, to have a forgiving nature, to accept so many people as they are, and to take the good qualities from them and to leave behind the bad ones. That is probably what is the miracle that I can talk about. It's a challenge, let me be honest with you, because I think the outreach program that now most ashrams are engaging with, to have shorter clips of messages, I think they have a far more reaching effect than a long drawn out sermon. I think today's kids are also extra smart. They're very perceptive. It's not that they are this thing. So if the message is modulated in such a manner that it reaches them and targets some of the problems that they have, which is basically a lot of ambition, less effort and more ambition is one major problem which I see, that they want quick results. But spiritual growth is a gradual process which they have to understand. But if they are able to deal with their day-to-day problems with one or two snippets every day as a message of the day, I think that helps. And I see sometimes very sort of coyly, my own daughter and my son would probably see some clip of somebody who's become popular and talks the language that they have. I think there is hope for them. It's not that it's because we did not have all that. We did not have so much of YouTube and you know, trigger happy that you can get any information, but they do have. And the only thing that I hope is that they click on the right messages and partake of all that is out there in this world. So we looked at the realm of the spirits, and I think they look at the realm of what is there apparently on the internet. And I think this is the way ashrams can probably reach out, is through the internet media, to have very relevant topics to deal with, how to deal with stress, how to deal with anger, how to bridge the gap between your ambition and your effort. I think that is something which would be wonderful. And no, yeah, well,
would you like to invite?
no, I think the lady who told me, she was surprised. I would turn around and say, she was not sarcastic, but she did really seemed very surprised that how people who are so close to the Himalayas or do not venture out. But I think today's generation is going out a lot, because post-COVID, I think the outdoor has created its own value and people are coming out. And the other thing which probably I would turn around and say visit Haidakhan is to say it's a lovely picturesque place with great energy. I mean, that's how I describe it to myself. I mean, I come and partake of its energy. There is, of course, Babaji all, I mean, somebody asked me, oh, you know, Babaji's photo and Paduka has been shifted to another place. Oh, it's going to, I said, you know, how come you don't realize that actually Babaji does exist in the Gautami Ganga flowing by, in the stones that you step on, in every little flower and every little tree, which is true. I mean, that is how I experience. I mean, I haven't had the privilege of having the vision of Babaji appearing in my dreams, which so many people have described. And I sometimes question that, is there something wrong with me that I have not had the vision? But probably I have seen him reflect in the sunshine of the green leaves on the trees and the fruits and the flowers, and you know, the great energy that takes you through the 9 days without even you are realizing it, how you climb the 108 steps. I mean, sometimes, I mean, I can say I can't do it, but you do it. And so there is a supportive energy there which cannot be denied. So there has to be experience. It cannot be put in words or paintings or whatever. Bola Baba ki jai.